Imagine you're standing on the African savanna. You see a herd of buffalo moving across the grass. Hundreds of animals packed together. At first, they look like easy prey. They're slow compared with a lion. They cannot outrun a determined predator forever. And there is enough meat in one adult buffalo to feed several lions. So you might expect a lion pride to attack immediately. But something strange happens. The lions often hesitate. They circle. They watch. They wait for one animal to make a mistake. Because a buffalo herd is not just a group of prey. It can become a wall of muscle, horns, and hooves. And that changes the entire hunt. But here's the surprising part. Lions do not actually avoid buffalo altogether. Buffalo are important lion prey in many African ecosystems. The real question is different. Why is attacking the entire herd such a dangerous gamble? And why does a single buffalo sometimes become a much easier target? Stay until the end, because the final reason reveals something surprisingly familiar about survival. When you're alone, danger can find you. When you're surrounded by others, the rules can completely change. Picture a lioness moving through tall grass. Her body is low. Her eyes are fixed on the herd. She is not thinking about the strongest buffalo. She is looking for a weakness. Maybe a young calf is too far behind. Maybe an older animal is separated. Maybe one buffalo turns the wrong way. The lion does not need to defeat the entire herd. It only needs one opening. And that is the first secret. A buffalo herd is powerful because it makes individual animals harder to isolate. Scientists have actually watched this happen. In 2012, researchers studying Cape buffalo in South Africa's Addo Elephant National Park found that buffalo herds became larger and more defensible after lions were reintroduced. That change was linked with better survival of young buffalo. Think about what that means. The lions came back. The buffalo changed their behavior. And suddenly, being part of a bigger group became a survival advantage. So why does size matter so much? Imagine one buffalo standing alone. A lion can approach from the side. It can circle behind. It can wait until the buffalo turns. There are only a few directions the buffalo can defend. Now, put that same animal inside a huge herd. Suddenly, the lion has a problem. Every direction is occupied. There are buffalo in front, buffalo behind, buffalo on the side, and many of them have horns. The lion is no longer choosing where to attack. The herd is choosing where the lion can stand. But that is only the beginning, because buffalo do not always run away. Sometimes they turn around, and that changes the hunt completely. A lion wants prey to flee. Running creates separation. Separation creates weakness. A young buffalo that falls behind can suddenly become the target. Researchers studying buffalo and Addo observed that smaller or fleeing groups could expose weaker animals to lions. In the early period after lions were reintroduced, young buffalo made up a surprisingly large share of the observed kills. But when buffalo resisted instead of simply fleeing, the situation became much harder for the lion. Think about that for a second. The prey is not just escaping, it is fighting back. And the weapon is already attached to its head. Those horns are not decoration. They can turn a predator's attack into a life-threatening mistake. A lion only needs one successful bite to win, but it only takes one bad decision to get injured. And for a wild predator, an injury can be disastrous. Imagine a lion charging toward a buffalo. The lion is fast. The buffalo is massive. The lion jumped. The buffalo turned. Now there is a wall of horns moving toward the attacker. The lion has to decide whether the opportunity is still worth the risk. This is where hunting becomes a calculation. The lion is not asking, can I kill this animal? It is asking something more important. Can I kill this animal without getting hurt? Because predators live on a dangerous budget. Every chase costs energy. Every failed attack wastes energy. And every injury can reduce the ability to hunt tomorrow. A broken tooth, a damaged leg, a deep wound. Any of these can turn a powerful predator into vulnerable prey. That is why the safest meal is not always the biggest meal. Sometimes the best target is simply the one that is easiest to control. But here's where buffalo become even more interesting. The herd itself can change depending on danger. In the Addo study, researchers found that buffalo formed larger, more defensible groups when exposed to lions. That is almost the opposite of what you might expect. You would think a predator would make prey scatter. Instead, the threat helped push buffalo together. And there is a simple reason. One buffalo has limited awareness. 100 buffalo have many eyes. One animal can miss a lion. A large herd has many chances to notice movement. The moment one animal reacts, others can react too. That creates an early warning system made of living animals. And it does something else. It makes the lion's job harder, because the lion cannot quietly approach one target when dozens of animals are watching. So what does the lion do? It waits. It searches. It watches the edges. And this is where the herd's greatest weakness appears, the edge. Because even the strongest group has a boundary, and anything standing outside that boundary is suddenly more vulnerable. A calf wandering too far away is different from a calf surrounded by adults. A lone male is different from a mixed herd. A small group is different from a giant group. The lion is looking for that difference. In fact, research on African buffalo in Kruger National Park found something remarkable. Adult male buffalo living in male-only bachelor groups faced a much higher risk of lion predation than adult females living in mixed herds. The estimated mortality hazard for adult males in bachelor groups was almost 4 times higher. Think about that. Same species, same dangerous horn, same powerful body, but a different social situation, and the risk changes dramatically. So the lion is not simply choosing buffalo, it is choosing circumstances. A strong buffalo in the wrong place can become an opportunity. A vulnerable buffalo in the right group can become almost impossible to reach. This is why the question, why don't lions attack buffalo, is slightly misleading. They do, but they do not attack every buffalo in the same way. They search for conditions that make the attack worthwhile. And that brings us to another strange detail. Lions can be extremely persistent when hunting buffalo. A study of lion prey selection in Addo found that buffalo were hunted more often than expected when lions encountered them. But overall hunting success against buffalo was only about 11.5% in that study. That number changes how you see the hunt. Imagine trying something 10 times and succeeding only about once. Now imagine that failure could leave you injured. That is not an easy meal. That is a gamble. And lions are experts at gambling carefully. They do not need every hunt to succeed. They need enough successful hunts to survive, so they can afford to wait for the right moment. A buffalo herd might be standing in the open. The lions may be nearby, but the lions do not necessarily rush. They watch. They test the herd. They look for movement. They look for confusion. They look for a calf. They look for an injured animal. They look for anything that breaks the wall, because the herd is strongest when it stays together and weakest when it falls apart. That idea became especially clear in another study at Addo. Researchers found that when buffalo herds were fragmented, buffalo predation increased. The majority of buffalo killed came from groups that had split apart. That tells us something powerful. The lion does not always need to become stronger. Sometimes the prey simply becomes weaker by becoming separated, and suddenly the entire hunt changes. One animal runs, another follows. A calf hesitates, the herd stretches out, and now the lion has space. That space is everything, because predators need separation. They need distance between one target and the protection around it. This is why you sometimes see lions chasing buffalo instead of immediately attacking the herd. The chase itself can be part of the strategy. The goal may be to create a gap. A buffalo herd moving as one is difficult. A buffalo herd breaking into smaller pieces is much easier to exploit. In southern Kruger, researchers recorded lions pursuing buffalo herds over surprisingly long distances. The average recorded pursuit was around 1.1 kilometers. Some pursuits stretched much farther. Why keep chasing? Because eventually the group may weaken, the young may fall behind, the herd may split, and one mistake can create the opening the lion was waiting for. But here comes the strangest part. The buffalo know this too. Not consciously in the human sense, but their behavior reflects the danger. When lions returned to the area studied in Addo, buffalo changed their group behavior. They formed larger, more defensible herds. They also favored more open areas during periods when lions were active. That is a remarkable arms race. The lion changes its hunting strategy. The buffalo changes its defensive strategy. The lion searches for isolation. The buffalo searches for protection. The lion waits for the herd to break. The buffalo tries to keep the herd together. Neither side needs to understand the other's plan. Natural selection has already written the rule, and those rules are brutally simple. The lion that wastes too much energy does not survive. The buffalo that stays too exposed may be killed. The animal that reacts at the right moment survives. The animal that makes the wrong move may become food. So now imagine the same scene again. The sun is dropping. A huge buffalo herd is moving across the grass. A pride of lions watches from a distance. The lions are hungry. The buffalo are enormous, and neither side wants to make the first serious mistake. The lions are not scared of every buffalo. They are respecting the cost of attacking the herd, because the herd has turned hundreds of individual animals into one defensive system. And that is the real secret. Buffalo survive not because every individual is unbeatable. They survive because being together makes each individual harder to defeat. A lion can overpower one buffalo under the right condition, but an entire herd can turn that same attack into a disaster. And this is where the story suddenly becomes about you, because humans do something remarkably similar. When you are completely alone, every problem feels bigger. You have fewer eyes watching, fewer people warning you, fewer people helping when something goes wrong. But when people cooperate, something strange happens. The group becomes stronger than the individual. That is one of the oldest survival tricks on Earth. Buffalo use it, humans use it, and predators have been fighting against it for millions of years. So the next time you see a lion staring at a massive buffalo herd, don't imagine a predator simply being afraid. Imagine a calculation happening. Is there an opening? Is the target isolated? Can the chase create separation? Is the reward worth the risk? Because the lion is not avoiding the buffalo. It is avoiding the wrong buffalo at the wrong moment. And that tiny difference is what keeps the herd alive. In the wild, strength is not always about being the strongest animal. Sometimes survival comes from making sure you are never alone.